Hello everyone. Today in this lecture we are going to introduce you to the basic concepts of history, and then we'll move on to the Paleolithic age. And while talking about Paleolithic age, we'll discuss the biological and cultural evolution of human beings, how it all began. Then we'll be looking at three stages of Paleolithic age, in which we'll discuss how these stages differ from each other, and sometimes they are also similar in a few ways. So we'll discuss all these things, how humans are culturally evolving in all these three stages, and why do we divide it in three stages, what are the tool types, what are their lifestyle. Then we'll come to the lifestyle and culture part, and we'll also try to locate some of the important sites of Paleolithic age on map. So let us begin. So see, when we are talking about history, we basically discuss three parts: ancient, medieval and modern. There are also a few divisions in between. For example, there is a transitional phase. When there is the transitional phase from ancient to medieval, we call it early medieval, or there is early modern. But we are discussing here about broad categories. Here in ancient only, we will also do art and culture part. We are not doing it separately. With each lecture, I'm going to talk about what kind of art and culture prevailed in that particular era. So see, these are the divisions that we'll be discussing. Now when we are talking about history, in history also there are three parts. First, prehistory. Then proto-history, and then the historical phase. So what is the difference between these three? When I say prehistory, that means we do not have any written evidence to understand this particular period. See, when we are discussing history, there are various sources. Again, these are the things that we will discuss lecture by lecture. But what you need to understand here, there are certain kind of sources which we need to reconstruct history, to understand that particular period. So there will be literary sources. So literature will be there will be archaeological sources, there will be numismatic sources, that means coins, there will be sculptures. So a lot of things are there. What happens when we are talking about this particular phase? We are completely relying on archaeological sources, what those people have left for us in material form. For example, there will be bones, there will be the kind of grains that they were eating, these kind of things which are there. So no literary source. No literary source. Prehistory is the phase where we do not find any written evidence. We are completely relying ourselves upon the archaeological sources to understand this particular phase. So when we are discussing prehistory, there will be Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. We will discuss these things one by one. Also there is Chalcolithic. So there will be separate lectures on each of these ages. Now when we are coming to proto-history, what do we mean by proto-history? In proto-history, we have written evidence, but we do not understand them. See, today we are speaking English, for example, but after a few years, it might be a possibility that people who are inhabiting in the same area, they do not understand our language. So that is how it has happened. These people might be writing a particular language, or they were speaking a particular language, but with the course of evolution that language hasn't existed. So we do not know, we do not understand that particular language. So for example, Indus Valley civilization, here we have a script, we have written evidence, but we cannot comprehend them because we do not understand their language. So that is the phase which is called proto-history, that written evidences are there but we do not understand them. So that is the phase which is of proto-history. Now the historical phase, here written evidence is available and we also understand them, we interpret them. So for example, in Vedic age, so we'll discuss these things. In Vedic age there are Vedas, there are Samhitas, Aranyakas, Brahmanas, all these texts have been written in archaic Sanskrit. We understand them, we read them, we understand them, we draw conclusions, interpretations based on them. So here what happens, literary sources, written documents become a prime source for us. So this is the basic difference. So here we are discussing in prehistory, there are 4 phases basically: Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, Chalcolithic. In this lecture, we are going to talk about Paleolithic phase. Paleolithic age. Again, see, when we are talking about Paleolithic age, another thing which is very important to understand, we start talking about Paleolithic age or prehistory when cultural evolution is beginning. What do I mean by that? There are 2 kind of evolutions which has happened: biological evolution of human beings and cultural evolution of human beings. What is the difference between the two? What had happened when firstly earth is formed, and then there are some kind of you can say organisms that are emerging, and after many years primates are coming. Primates. And here see, there are many divisions and it is a very long and complex history till we are evolving into human beings. Here we are not going into that, but what I want you to understand, that there is a long history of evolution. So for example, Carcopithecodea, Seboidea, Anthropoidea, what we are concerned with is anthro wala part, the anthro part. So when we are looking at this evolution, that there is Prosimy, there is Sarcopithecodea, there is Seboidea, all these names you do not need to know. They are not important for us. It's from the biological perspective. So this evolution which is happening from primates to Homo, this is the biological evolution of human beings. They are evolving biologically. So that is something which will come in this particular section. When I say cultural evolution, what do I mean? That humans started doing something which has a cultural impact. For example, if you look at apes today, so they are this strand, and here humans are this strand. They are coming from one primate only. So when you look at these apes, what is the basic difference between humans and them? They are living naturally. We are trying to manipulate the environment. We are trying to manipulate the ecology for our own needs. So here the basic difference is this, that the cultural evolution of human beings will begin the day they will pick up for example, they'll pick up a stone and they'll throw it at a particular animal. Animals are not going to do that. They will use their physical strength. But when humans are starting to use their mental faculties, that is when the difference is coming out. That is when the cultural evolution is beginning. So use of mental faculties, that is something that will change the course of history, and cultural evolution of human beings will begin. So here there was Australopithecus and Homo. So here humans are differing. In Australopithecus, what is happening? Bipedalism is evolving. Bipedalism means you standing on 2 feet. Bipedalism. Again, these are not the things that you have to focus upon. I'm just letting you know that here the cultural evolution begins when we are coming to Homo. Till now, there is just biological evolution which is happening. They were using 4 feet initially to walk, then they are coming to 2 feet. So this is something where with biological, cultural evolution is also beginning. Why? Because now humans are using their mental faculties and they have picked up a stone to protect themselves, to use it for their own good without exhausting themselves physically that much. So this is something that we are concerned with. Homo, Australopithecus, that is a different strand. We are here now when the cultural evolution is beginning. Cultural evolution. So what has happened that humans have become bipedal? When you are becoming bipedal, a very major change which will come is your 2 hands are free. So if you are using 4 hands, that is going to be difficult for you. Now when your hands are free, you can use it for other purposes. So the first Homo habilis. Again, this is something which is not, you do not need to remember it if you don't want to. Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, and Homo sapiens sapiens. This is what we are today. So 1750 cranium size of the brain. Homo habilis, it was the first human which started making tools. That is why it is called handy man. We can call it handy humans because initially, see, the term which is often used in history books, that is man. So Homo erectus, here the basic discovery is of fire. Here language, and this is what we are today. So the first change which is coming is of handyman. Here the Paleolithic age has started. Paleolithic age. Paleolithic age, it has started from here when humans picked up the first stone to make tools. So what is the time period? 5 lakhs years before present to 20,000 years before present. This is the basic, 10,000. 10,000 years before present. That is the basic timeline of Paleolithic age. So the geological era is also there. Pleistocene age, you remember it as Ice Age. You don't need to mug up that name. Ice Age, Pleistocene age we call it. That is the geological timeline which is going on. So here what is happening, this particular category, they have started making tools. So what kind of tools are they making? That is something that we'll look at. We'll come to that in a bit. So these people have started making tools, and this is something which is differentiating them from other species that are living with them. So this is giving them an edge. When you are making a tool, you will be much more powerful than the one who doesn't have it. So that is something which is changing here. In Homo erectus, what will happen? See, the cranium capacity of the brain size is increasing. That is why there is this change. They are they are divided into 4 categories because each of them has a greater cranium capacity of the brain. So this particular one, they discovered fire by accident. Now when you have discovered fire, again you have another tool which is going to make you more powerful than the other species who are there. You can use it to keep yourself warm because this is the ice age. You can use it to keep yourself warm. You can use it to make someone else afraid of you. So this is something which is which does not seem very revolutionary to us because it is such a normal part of our lives, but this is something very revolutionary back then. Think about a time when there is a ice age and human beings are living with other wild animals in the middle of a jungle or in the middle of somewhere which is very much deserted. They are living in groups of 40. How are they going to protect themselves? They are not physically as strong as those wild animals. So these discoveries are being these discoveries are going to be proved very revolutionary. So this is something which is very important to understand. Till now, humans were not using language. The Broca's area from where we speak, it wasn't developed till Homo erectus. So what is the problem which happens when you cannot speak? See, if I can speak and I know something, so I'll tell you. Suppose I have a daughter and I have gathered every kind of knowledge, which food to eat, which food I should not eat, what kind of behavior is right one, what can be problematic. Every kind of information that I have gathered, I can pass on to my daughter. Why? Because I can speak. Here there is no question of literature, so you cannot write it. First you will learn to speak, then you will learn to write. So if I cannot even speak, how am I going to pass on all the knowledge to her? So she'll have to start from the beginning. She'll have to start from the scratch. Now, when the Broca's area has developed and people have started speaking, another revolutionary change will come, because the generation which has gathered certain information, for example, where in this season where you can find the fruits, where you can find certain kind of grains which are growing there naturally, these people are not cultivating anything. They are using the things which are available in nature. So one generation can tell the coming generation that okay, in this season you should migrate there, in this season you could migrate there, that is an animal you should be aware of, this is the area where you should live. So all these kind of important information that can be passed on to the next generation when people started speaking. So again, a very major change. And here that becomes the premise of further evolution, and this we'll trace this evolution in the coming lectures, how humans are evolving and how from being a banned society they are developing a culture, then they are going on to become a civilization, the coming of empires. We'll look at all these things in the subsequent lecture. Here this is something that you should understand. So we have talked about the biological evolution. Even when the cultural phase has started, in this also we have looked at how biological evolution was also happening side by side. So coming to Paleolithic, first of all, what I want you to understand, that this terminology Paleolithic. So before coming to Paleolithic, look at these terminologies: Lithic age and Lithic age, Bronze Age, Iron Age. So this is the broader. Here Paleo, Meso, Neo will come. Paleo, Meso, Neo. Here Chalco and others, they will come. Here what I want you to understand, Lithic. Lithic means stone. Bronze is what? A metal. So is iron. It's an alloy. So here we are categorizing the ages based on the kind of material people are using to make tools. Tools are something very important. So if tools are made of stone, the period will be categorized as Lithic age. The person who made this division is P.F. Shum. So if tools are made of stone, Lithic age. If they are also using metal, Bronze age. If they are using iron, Iron age. So this is the broader categorization that we use here also. So he has used it in European context, but we also use, we borrowed the terminology and we are using it in India also. Now in Lithic age, Paleo, Meso, Neo. because there are some advancements which are happening over time. That is why this categorization has been done. So Paleolithic, when I am saying Paleolithic, Paleo means old, lithic means stone, age. So old stone age. This is what we are concerned about here. So why lithic age? Because the tools which we are going to look at, they are made of stone. So in Paleolithic, there are three divisions: lower. In this also minor evolutions are happening. That is why the categorization will go further. Lower Paleolithic age, 5 lakhs before present to 50,000 years before present. So when we are saying lower Paleolithic age, tools which will be there, hand, axe and chopper chopping. They are main tools, chopper chopping. So hand axe, just let me explain one thing to you, then we'll come back to it. What is the kind of society they are living in? So you need to understand here that they are living as band society. Band society, they are living in a group of 40. In a group of 40. These people are based to each other by kinship relations, blood relations. So they are living in a group of 40. They are related to each other by blood. They live together in a particular area. Where they are living, there are two kind of sites. See, here when we are talking about band society, no idea has been originated about marriage, about other things, about social hierarchy, which we will see later. We will see how these institutions are evolving. When people are dying, they haven't even started mourning. So there are no rituals, there is no institution of marriage. These people did not marry. So the institution of marriage is not there. Everybody is equal. The institution of patriarchy, the institution of caste, the institution of social division, nothing has originated as of now. They are just living in a group of people who are all equal. There doesn't exist any kind of hierarchy, be it based on gender, class or caste. Anything is not there. They are living in a band of 40. What they are doing, they are hunting and foraging to survive. So the economy is based on subsistence. They are not hoarding. What is happening? That I killed an animal today, we ate it together, or somebody is going to collect some fruits or seeds. It is coming here, we all ate it, tomorrow we will go to hunt or to forage again. It is subsistence economy. They are not saving anything. So that is something which is very important here. And now what will happen when they are hunting, they are foraging? For example, they have hunted, so they need to cut the animal, they need to scrape the skin. So for all these things, they made tools for hunting, for foraging, for scraping the animal skin, for cutting it. They used tools. These tools are chopper chopping and hand axe tools. We'll look at those tools in a bit. There is the technique, block to block technique. Later they'll develop Levolution technique. I'm not going into that detail because at this stage that is not something which you should delve into. This is basic introduction. So coming here, these sites, where are these people living? They are living mostly in caves. There are two kinds of sites: habitation sites, and factory sites. What is the difference between the two? Habitation sites, where these people are living. Factory sites, where they are making the tools. So it is, they are not going to be away from each other. They'll be closely together. Sometimes where they are living, they are also making tools there. So both of these can overlap. So habitation sites and factory sites, people where they are living, where they are making the tools. Okay. Okay, so this is hand axe. They used to probably what they'll do, that they'll use a stick here to use it to throw it to some animal, to harm it. So that is the basic purpose of it. This is hand axe, pear shaped. This is made of what? This is made of stone only. Chopper chopping tools, so they'll use it for grinding, they'll use it for scraping. These are the scrapers. This is coming in middle Paleolithic age. This is something that they are using. So look at it, it looks really heavy. It might not have been very easy to use. So what is the difference? See, when these people are making tools for the first time, they did not know how to make tools. They are just experimenting. So it is not going to be fine on the first day. It will develop eventually, and that is why other ages will come into being, because we will divide it on the basis of the tool types. Here it's really heavy, it looks very tough to use, it must have been very tough to use, but it is giving them an edge over people who do not, edge over species who do not have it. So those species will come to attack them. These people can just throw a stone, and this is not raw stone. They see, they have tried to perfect it in their own way. So it is much more effective than a raw tool, than just picking up a tool, just picking up a stone and throwing it. So this is the chopper chopping and hand axe tools. What are the important sites? Belan Ghati, Belan Valley is there, Didwana in Rajasthan in there. We locate it on the map once we are done with this division. So there is Nevasa in Maharashtra, there is Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh. So these areas are important. Most of the times for these three, the areas will overlap for lower, middle and upper Paleolithic. So you can just remember sites from Paleolithic age if you cannot remember it by lower Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic or upper Paleolithic. So this is about lower Paleolithic. Now coming to middle Paleolithic, the second division. Why middle Paleolithic? Because tools are getting a bit better. Middle Paleolithic age, 50,000 years from before present to 20,000 years before present. So the basic difference is tools are getting a bit better from the earlier one. It does not mean that they stopped using hand axes. They are still using it, but they are also making a bit better, a bit lighter tools. Okay, so hand axes are they are also there, but they are making smaller and lighter tools too. Why lighter? See, when they are using it, they are also understanding after a time that okay, it is very heavy, it is not very easy to carry, it is a bit difficult to throw it at somebody. So they'll gradually start developing other tools also. So flake tools are there, flakes and scrapers. This is the one. So look at this one, hand axe, and look at this one. This one is obviously better. So they are evolving with experience, with time, when they are thinking, because their mental faculties are also developing with the time. So this is something that now they are making. So flakes and scrapers. Here also the same thing will exist. The economy that we have talked about, subsistence economy, they'll keep on hunting and foraging. So they'll keep on hunting and foraging. They'll live on subsistence economy. They'll live in a group of 40. So this is the same thing which is continuing. There is still no idea of marriage, no idea of rituals, nothing is there. Okay. Now, sites will also be mostly the same. The one site which is getting added is Luni in Rajasthan, Luni Valley. Okay. So this is something which you need to know. Now, Upper Paleolithic. Upper Paleolithic age. Again, the thing which is making a very big difference is tools. Here these people are using blades and burins. For making tools, they are using stone only. Look at this one, Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, Upper Paleolithic. The tools are getting finer, the tools are getting lighter, they are now easy to use. So this is the very important difference which is coming. The mode of subsistence, that is still the same, but there is another dimension which has been added in the cultural evolution of human beings, that is rock paintings. Rock paintings. Sites are almost the same. Nevasa, Adamgarh, Bhimbetka, Didwana, Belan Valley, Son Valley, Luni Valley. Sites are all the same. But rock paintings in Bhimbetka, Madhya Pradesh, rock paintings are getting added. What kind of rock paintings? They are painting their lifestyles. So if they are hunting an animal, they'll paint it there. If they are eating something, they'll paint it there. If they are foraging something, they'll paint it there. So a sense, an aesthetic sense is getting developed. These photographs are from the caves of Bhimbetka. It might look very raw to you. You might think that why are you calling it aesthetic? But look at these paintings. These people who are living the way that we have talked about, they have started making art, they have started making paintings, and this is something really remarkable. So they'll paint their own lifestyle, they'll paint the animals that they are looking at, they'll paint themselves, they'll paint their daily activities in these paintings. And these paintings are also going to evolve gradually. When you will look at Mesolithic paintings or Neolithic paintings, they are also getting finer day by day. So this is another dimension which is getting added in the life of Paleolithic people, and it started from Upper Paleolithic age. Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh. So after this, what will happen? That ice age, the ice will start gradually melting, and the Holocene age will come. The changes which are coming with Holocene, we'll look into that in Mesolithic age. Now here, the sites. Bhimbetka. This is where Bhimbetka is. Bhimbetka. This is Didwana, another important site. Didwana. This is Budha Pushkar. This is the Luni Valley. This is the river Luni, and here humans were living too. This is the Belan Valley here. Belan Valley. Nevasa. This is Nevasa. So do not remember a lot of names. Hosangi is also important. Remember these names: Hosangi, Nevasa, leave Nagarjun Konda, Bhimbetka. This is something that you have to remember anyhow. Bhimbetka, Adamgarh, if you want, you can remember this. Belan Valley, Didwana. These are the sites. Just keep these sites in mind that they are Paleolithic sites. So This is what we needed to understand here. What we have looked at in this particular lecture, we have looked at first how we divide history into different categories. Then we looked at Paleolithic age, and when we were looking at Paleolithic age, we discussed the biological as well as cultural evolution of human beings. We looked at the three categories of Paleolithic. We looked at the lifestyle, the tool types in each of them. Then we briefly discussed the evolution of art making, the paintings at Bhimbetka. We have looked at those paintings. We have looked at some important sites at the map. And now in the next lecture, we will see how when the ice has started melting and Holocene age is coming, how that geological change is changing humans' lives again in a very different way. That is something that we will look in Mesolithic. Thank you.